I do that?
Hey!
No way. I can't believe we did it. We deserve a cookie.
We did it! We're having cookies, but not right now. We're going to talk kids. How you doing? Johnny Fox here with another Sniktcast. Better late than never. Multiverse of madness, indeed. We were going to do it over there, and we were going to do it over here, but it wasn't working over there, and it wasn't working over here. But now we're here for your enjoyment, like a day at the zoo
There you go.
or a nice cake.
Watching the
So,
monkeys.
okay. So we're going to talk very fast and get through as much as we can, as quickly as we can. So, kids, I'll let the lady over there tell you a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Who am I? I'm a baby. I keep telling everybody, it's like, oh, do you this? It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I do that or not because I like just started all this stuff. So I'm at LL Cool Games. We being me. I have a Facebook where I post, stupid video game memes. I try and keep people up to date on game releases, especially physical media stuff. That's a huge thing for me. And then I have a YouTube, right? Physical media forever. I have a YouTube where I need to do better about posting videos. But we go to a lot of cons. I like to talk about video game toys and related stuff. I have done one like gameplay video, which was really fun, but it's also kind of an overwhelming thing to do. So I need to do more of everything. But anyway, that's what we do. And my Facebook is at 77. So I'm betting if I get to 102, then things will work easier. I don't know.
Maybe. We shall see. Won't be a problem. After this, it'll be 1,000. It'll be 1,000
Right?
after this.
Yes!
That's
Everybody
that's what
come.
I do. I am the
Awesome.
catalyst.
Good.
So, video games, among all of the culture that pops, but we'll start with video games. So, have you been a gamer? Has this been a tiny LL, or is it a new thing for you?
Yes, actually, okay, so here, I'll show you. I have this on my desk. It's an old picture.
Ooh, look at that.
So this is my mom, who you can't tell is pregnant with my younger brother.
Okay.
And that's me. And we are playing Atari. My household was lucky enough to have, I had an uncle who was very, very video game, anything pop electronics. So we would get the hand-me-downs when he would buy the next cool thing. So I grew up with an Atari 2600. That was our thing. We got an hour. We got an hour on the weekends or on the summer. My little brother and I, but we learned that if we played 2-player games, then we could have 2 hours, right, to like maximize our time. So I just thought that's what everybody had. Everybody had this goofy little wooden box that was supposedly like the top tier gaming machine. And that bad boy lasted probably into the 90s. I would say it burned itself. It like burned through the board, which was amazing, right? It broke and we finally like smashed it open with a hammer and there was like literally a burned hole. Quality gaming accessories. But yeah, so video games have always been a part of who I am and what I do. And so then as a family, we have 3 kids of our own. I have a husband, and we all kind of have our weird little niche video game things that we do. Yeah, so it's everywhere all the time at our house.
So to fast forward to right now, do you have a platform of choice at the minute that you play on mostly?
It is right here. This is my baby. I wasn't gonna get a light, and then they came out. And it's like, this is amazing. Right? It's like a single screen DS. It's so user friendly. Yeah, I'm on that almost every day. I am a Balatro addict. Do you do card games?
Not so much. Not so much.
Yeah,
Although
I
it's something that's kind of growing on me because everyone else seems to be doing it.
and I would normally have nothing to do with it, but it's like a card, like a table game, but then it has these weird like powered up jokers that completely transform. So it's a lot of RNG and a lot of kind of learning how the different things interact. It's fantastic, and I'm horrible at it. So I keep playing. I play every day. Someday I will get good, but not today.
That, that,
So
that's 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 like the best review I think you can give to a game. The games where you're bad at, where you lose or you die all the time, and yet you keep playing. You don't get mad at them. You don't put them on the shelf
yeah,
and like pretend that never happened or I've wasted my money. When you just keep trying and keep improving, hopefully,
yeah,
they're the best.
yeah. It's been awesome. What do you play? What are you playing currently?
I'm an Xbox guy
Okay.
currently, current gen. And yet, what I'm playing is I don't know if you know the Nexamon games.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
actually, because
it,
it's kind of Pokemon,
Pokemon,
Digimon.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's there's no two ways about it. It's the old school kind of like the 16-bit RPG Pokemon games of yore.
Awesome.
It is just that gaming loop, that finding and taming and evolving and loop. There is a story. It's a very good story. It actually continues into the second game. It has a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
like fourth wall breaking. There's a companion character to your main character who kind of talks directly to you and knows that they're in a video game and makes these sly comments and stuff. And it's really cute
Oh,
and sweet and fun,
interesting.
and then strangely darker than you'd ever expect
Oh,
in places as well. Kind of like some of the best sort of anime kind of does that. It's all
yeah.
just jokes and goofiness and superpowers, and then shit hits the fan.
That's like,
But
whoa.
I am enjoying the hell out of it. I got them both as a bundle. Like they're really cheap. There's really no
Okay.
excuse not to get these games if you like that kind of thing. I got
Nice.
both games in a bundle some time ago. Played the hell out of the first one. I had like a whole deck full of fully evolved legendary
Oh, wow. Yeah.
creatures. Then took a bit of a break, because burnout and all that. Played other things. I've just gone back to the second one, and yeah, now I can't think about doing anything else. Anytime I have that hour, 2 hours,
Right?
game
Oh,
of time
that's
to
awesome.
spare, I just want to,
Right?
if whether it's just grind, just a leveling grind, or whether I actually move on the story quest a little bit. But yeah, I'm loving it. You can keep all your photorealistic state of the art next to
Yes,
stuff. I'm
I
quite
am
happy with
not.
retro knockoff.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're at that kind of point where, right, do we go to PS5? And there's not right now. I don't have a lot of motivation to do that. There's some games, but I have a million other things to play right now, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, we'll see. I'm hoping that there will be a special, like a Monster Hunter edition that'll come out next year with the new Monster Hunter game. And
Now,
that would
that
be
that
fantastic.
that will be something that pulls me away from whatever sort of retro shenanigans I might be up to. When that's ready, I'm ready.
I'm
They can take my money on that one.
yes.
Okay. So did you go through the whole like Nintendo Sega Wars? Was that
Um, so I didn't know. So I lived in the middle of nowhere. Ready? Okay, so I grew up in Michigan. So I get to point at my hand to tell you where I lived. So I grew up here, like nowhere. So like pop culture stuff doesn't go that high. I can't even explain it. Um, so I didn't really know about a lot unless like our uncle was exposing us to some of those things. The neighbor down the street had a Super Nintendo, so I played that some, but our first console at home was a 64. which is great. And it was a great place to start. We were at a good age. Banjo Kazooie is still like close to my heart. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't know about all the other things. We didn't even really have like a Game Boy or any of that stuff until kind of further down the line. So,
It doesn't matter where you start, does it?
right.
It really doesn't. You can always go backwards. In fact, how
Yes.
cool to kind of start later, and then you've got all that to explore. It's
And then everything, no kidding. Yeah, it's been fun. My husband is a big Nintendo collector. So he started off with a no, original Nintendo. And then, right, we were kind of in that great age as things transitioned, especially from Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, GameCube. So he would buy everybody's games off of him in high school, right? And in high school, $20 was a lot of money. So
yeah,
I'll give you $20 for this stack of games. So we still have, games that he remembers buying. Like I know that his copy of Bucky O'Hare, which I don't even want to know how much that game is worth right now today. That he bought off of some kid in the cafeteria at school for like $8. It's a really interesting thing to have because he's always been, and I don't know what kind of like premonition he was born with, I guess, to know. So he didn't trade those things away. He kept them all, close and in boxes and put away nicely. So everything is kind of preserved.
wow.
Um, yes. So I have a lot of like retro things that I can go back to. But right, we have 3 kids. I love my Switch. I'm the worst for getting on and just going through and finding demos, right? Because if I play your demo, I'm probably gonna buy your game. And then anything, that are discounted games that are $1 or $2, it's only $2, right?
Yeah,
I'll just and yeah, it's bad.
yeah. I kind of once I kind of finished all the the sort of AAA stuff or whatever that I wanted, and I was like I'm out of games. I need a new game, and you look in, and nothing's really grabbing you that's coming up, and then I decided to. I thought of a game. I thought of an old game. I thought I'd replay,
Nice.
and but it wasn't installed, so I was hooked up. I've got to have an external hard drive, and
Oh, okay.
then on putting that in, that's when I was reintroduced to all those cheap
Yeah.
little games that I just picked this up and picked that up and picked the
Uh,
other up, and it was like, actually, I'm good.
yeah.
I've got plenty of hours gaming to go with
That's
without
awesome.
spending any more money. It's fine, and I made a point of just getting to like small indie titles and things. Maybe 4 hours and it's completed, and there's not even much of a need for a second playthrough or anything. But that
Hmm.
there was plenty of them
Yeah.
to go at, which kept me going quite nicely. I'd forgot about. Maybe I'd tried them for an hour and gone, yeah, it seems pretty cool, yeah, and then just put it to one side. So
Right.
yeah, yeah, I can hold my hands up for doing that.
Yes. Well, in some of those games, I know early on we bought Neuromancer, just a digital, probably paid less than $10 for it. Neuromancer is such an addicting, because you're like little robots and you play through levels. And then as you're playing through, you're collecting upgrades and things for your robot. So then you can do bigger levels and harder. Oh my word, the hours that we have in that game. So you got to like watch out. Those indie games, they know what they're
They
doing
do.
and they grab. And sometimes you wind right 4 hours and you're like, oh, that was nice. And then sometimes it's your kids being like, Mom, will you play? Will you play Neuro? And I'm like, oh my God, I've played so much. Yes, I will play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to. I don't want to sound like a kind of sort of like reverse snobbery, but I think a lot of the sort of smaller indie developers, I feel like, I mean, obviously, there's more pressure on those guys to want to make a profit,
Sure.
but they seem to be still far more interested in the art form, in creating
Yes.
the game. They don't want to get some Hollywood movie star in to do mocap or
Right.
voiceover work, or like the game seems to come first. But obviously, making money is always nice. But the game
Sure.
definitely seems to be the main focus, which doesn't seem to be the case all the time, especially in recent times, for some of the
Yeah.
big budget games, I think. But hey,
Yes, it's right. They're trying to make a movie, and it's like that's nice. And I'm a sucker for a good like a storyline. It has to have storyline. I don't care if it looks good
yeah,
or not. But at the same time, things like, and it's so funny to think about how old Shovel Knight is now. But Shovel Knight, what? Where did that come from? How did they know? Right? But it's because they're gamers, and I think they exist like that little bit closer to reality
yeah,
where these people who are making all this money, right, and are hiring, yeah, motion capture actors to do, no, that's insane. Right, right now I'm playing Sea of Stars. I'm kind of like tandem playing with a friend so that we have somebody to discuss the game and so on with. And that's been great fun and motivation to keep going when the game gets stinky and I don't want to play. um, but yeah, it's beautiful and it's fun, and I think it's because they were gamers first, and then they were like, "Hey, let's add to the collective awesomeness." Instead of right, let's make a buck by coming out with Halo 47. Yeah.
yeah. I think so. So obviously, so do you limit your kids' sort of screen time in a similar way to, as you said, you
Mm.
had like the hour or 2 hours if you play a two-player game.
Right.
Do you adhere to similar kind of rules yourself?
So at our house we have some limits, but at the same time, their whole lives are on a screen, right? They go to
Yeah,
school, they're on a screen. Even calling so all of our extended family still lives in Michigan and we're in Ohio now. So there's a couple hours there. So we don't see each other all the time. So, even to make a phone call nowadays is on a screen, right? It's
yeah,
intense and it's everywhere. So when they were little, my youngest is 9. He'll be 10 next month. So when they were little, it used to be much more controlled. We were always, in the room to see what they were doing. There was no YouTube and that kind of
yeah,
stuff. Now, um, now like right now, they have a buddy over, and all four of them are sitting at the kitchen table, which is one of the keys to letting this kind of stuff happen. They're sitting at the kitchen table, right, with they do have headphones on right now because they're like right talking with squads
yeah.
and so on. I think they're playing Team Fortress 2, which is again another ridiculous game that I can't believe is still alive and
Okay,
kicking.
yeah,
Um, but that's right. They're on there. They're hanging out with their buddies. They've got the other buddy here. Why would I limit that? Like they're learning how to interact in an online community. They're learning how to do all of these things. And as long as they're not making poor choices and showing me that they need help, we
yeah,
kind of let things go.
yeah. It's said. I said I my little guy is is 20 years old, and I'm
Yes.
halfway across the
Call
country
him little to his face.
at
It's
university.
awesome. Yeah.
Um, but we had some criticism from some areas because he
Hmm.
was, as we don't, I don't have the photographic evidence
Yeah.
with me, but he used to sit just by my side while I was playing,
Sure.
from as soon as he could hold himself up, Um,
Mhm.
but we always said it's like we're in charge. We're still watching what he does, somewhat choosing for him, at least up to a certain point, of what he's doing and how long he does it for. And it's like, logic, puzzle solving skills, you know, that
Yep.
kind of thing. And then as he got older and multiplayer games and headsets, and he's making friends with people halfway across the world and
Right.
joining
Yes.
guilds and making clans and all of that, you know. All
Yeah.
suiting up for raids, so he's developing social skills, even though he's locked away inside on his own, while
He's
like
just
the other boys and
online.
girls
Yes.
might be out riding their bikes or you know whatever, and that's great. And I used to do that because I didn't have quite as many, not didn't have the internet for one thing. But he's still doing that. He still did develop those skills. He was very rarely actually on his own, you know.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
he's got the headset, he's talking to whoever, and you see, you know, when it pops up the chat and you see the names increase or the gamer tag,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, yeah, I can't argue with that. Like you said, why would I limit that? That's he seems to be doing great,
Right.
and
Right.
so it's all good. It's not as bad. It's not as people can demonize, I think, somewhat
Yes.
video game. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's never been bigger. And you
Yeah.
know, Keanu Reeves is in video games for crying out loud. And
Yes. I haven't played that one. I need to, but
I think
yeah.
you should right now. I know it was a mess
Yeah.
at launch. Well, it wasn't for me. Somehow I got like the one copy in the whole world that wasn't effed up. I don't know how,
Okay.
but
That's
I
hilarious.
seem to have all the things that people were saying. I was like, no, I've been
Like
playing
what?
it since day one. It's great. But
That's funny.
there has been a ton of patches and improvements, and the DLC that they kind of recently released.
Yeah, there's been a
When
recent.
you,
Yeah.
which kind of is weird because it takes place sort of 2/3 of the way through the main game, and then you go back to the base game and play the ending,
Hmm.
which is now completely different when you add the DLC in the middle.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
right now, that's one hell of a game and well worth getting. I think I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I wish it had more sort of RPG choices that affected the world. Doesn't really have that, but there's like a single player story driven game to play through with a bunch of side quests to distract you for a while.
Hmm.
It's a damn fine game.
Cool.
I'm back on. I'll support it, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I've been playing it since day one. It's one of the few modern, fairly recent games that I have actually given multiple playthroughs.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Yeah.
Partly because of playing it, and then there's an update, there's a patch, and we've added this and we've changed that. Okay, I'll go back and play it again and see how that works. You know,
Yeah.
and then
That's
found
us
myself
with,
thinking, I'll
yeah,
just jump in for a couple of hours and just see how this new
just
system
a
works.
minute.
Another entire playthrough later.
Right. Well,
So
that's
something
fantastic.
about it that I quite like.
That's that's us with what is the space, the No Man's Sky,
Oh,
right? Bought it and it was like, what is going on? Right? I am taking crazy pills. This game is nothing. And now it's this huge, amazing, amazing game that yeah, I'll make the mistake every now and then to be like, oh, I'll just get on. I'm just gonna go, right? Because they'll update. And it's like, oh, I can go like farm animals now. What? And you have to try it because they thought it was good enough, right, to pull you back in. And man, some of those improvements, yeah, have been incredible. And to like add to the storyline, that's interesting. To be like, okay, this was trash. We're gonna fix this. Please, yeah, kind of bear with us. And again,
yeah,
that's kind of the dance that we have when talking about physical media, right? Your Super Nintendo, there couldn't have been any of that. It would have just been a horrible
yeah,
game that would have sat there and you would have never touched it. Where this kind of interaction between, right, the powers that be and and us consumers that complain on the internet, they're like, okay, fine, fine. You know, we want more people to buy it, so we'll help you. And there are some of those little, yeah, like No Man's Sky. Everybody should play No Man's Sky. It's fun. So that's exciting to hear. I think Cyberpunk I downloaded when it was one of those PlayStation freebie, right? When they were like, oh my God, please, people download this.
Yeah.
Nobody's using it.
Yeah.
So I'm there. It's on the backlog. We'll just have to see, when I have time.
I did. Yeah. Good. So, you know, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to race along. We're going to get to know. So now you know a bit about LL Cool Games. You know what goes on the channel. We've talked about video games, but let's get to know Lindsay a little bit better. And we're going to play.
Okay.
We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game. There's no wrong answers, and there's no prizes.
Oh, great.
You know. So I'm just going to play a little bit of game. A thing I like to call this or that.
Okay, great.
Pretty simple. You'll get the premise straight away. The first question, always I lead off, cats or dogs?
Oh, I'm a cat. Sorry. Yep, cats.
Oh, don't apologize. Cats are awesome. You have cats?
We have 3.
3 cats. I know they're not the easiest animal all the time to get to pick up when you want to and smush and cuddle because, you know, cats do what they want. But when you can, do you regularly pick the cats up and check their paws for thumbs?
Weird. No.
Do
I
it.
can see their thumbs from
Do
here.
it. No, because it's just one man's opinion. But if cats get opposable digits, we're all screwed.
We're done for.
Never mind AI.
Yeah.
Never mind AI. Cats evolve thumbs. Bow to your feline overlords, people. That's
awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Beer or wine?
Probably neither. But if it's something exciting like maybe a cider, you can get me with a good hard cider.
Okay.
But.
Here we go. Pizza or kebab? Pizza.
Oh, pizza, absolutely.
Or kebab?
Pizza. 1,000 times.
Is that a vegetarian thing or just pizza?
No, just pizza. Yeah, I have one of our children. Pizza is his like main food group. We joke he has a hollow leg that's specifically for pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't we all got that?
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
pretty sure like 7 out of 10 people have that affliction. Okay. Country retreat or city living?
Definitely country. Quiet, sedate, right? I already have enough anxiety. I don't need more of that.
It's not though, because this is episode 30, and I think that's probably, I haven't really been counting, but I think that's probably 28 voting countries. So pretty much the country turns into the city because that's what everybody wants.
Everybody.
So it's a nice try, but hey, I have to escape to the city that's all just like some kind of post-apocalyptic zombie movie, tumbleweeds going past and all that, because they're all in the country.
Everybody left.
Okay, would you rather go skydiving or scuba diving?
So I have been skydiving.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those where I'm glad I did it, and I'm also glad I don't ever have to do it again. It's intense. It's really intense. Scuba diving, I've never done it, and I guess I don't know that I want to. We'll just stick with skydiving. That's fine.
Okay. What else have we got here? Oh, big parties or small gatherings?
I am a small. Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Would you rather have money or free time?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Aren't those the same thing? Probably free time. Yeah. Because I'm hurting at this point in time. Free time.
Yeah. I kind of, it's a bit of a loaded question because I like to assume I wouldn't know, not having any money, but I kind of assume that money somewhat buys you free time.
Right. Right.
Unless you have to spend all your time earning it. But like,
Oh.
hopefully, once you've got it, and you can pay people to do the boring things, so you can, talk to
Huh.
strange English people on the internet, or finish that backlog of games and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. Okay. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Wow. Okay. Okay. So vampire lives forever, so that's easy. Vampire, 100%.
Oh, really? Every,
Yeah.
everyone's a vampire.
I
Look, I'm sorry.
guess
Look,
forever.
I have to stick up for you know hairy mammals, right? But vampire, it's fine. That's okay. Be a vampire. Live forever. Watch all your friends and family die. All
That's
your loved ones.
yeah.
Watch them die. Cope with that psychological trauma forever. Yeah, see if I
No,
care.
yeah,
See
yeah.
if I care. You'll just find me, in a bush somewhere scratching myself or whatever. It's fine. I'll be all right. Don't mind me. I don't need friends. Um, okay. Oh, would you rather see a puppet show or a magic show?
Ooh, wow. Okay. So one of the things that I was a huge fan of, I don't know if you guys had this. So do you know David Copperfield?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there would be like the TV specials where it would be David Copperfield, and like through the TV, he would be like, you know, he would like pretend to show you cards, and then you would like do the magic. Oh my gosh. My brother and I used to like pretend do that kind of stuff, right? Like we'd use a cardboard box as our TV and like hold cards, and yeah, magic, magic,
And
100%.
so do you like like the the close up magic, like
Yeah,
the misdirection, the card tricks, the ball tricks, all of that kind of thing? But do
super
you
fancy.
prefer that, or like the huge kind of make the Empire State Building disappear
Yeah,
kind of shenanigans? You
yeah.
know,
I think that like sleight of hand, um, that stuff's more impressive to
smart,
me
right?
personally, right?
Yeah, it's like even if you think it's not magic, it's a skill. As you say, it's misdirection, it's sleight of hand. Doesn't take
But
away from how impressive it is as a skill to learn. And
right,
it's not something just anybody can do. I mean, maybe you don't have to be a wizard, but like it's
but
it's a skill.
David Copperfield is. I've decided right now. David Copperfield is a wizard. I'll send him an email. By the way, I decided.
uh, what else have we got here? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Get to a couple of controversial ones. We
Oh
only get
boy.
the tough questions here on a Sniktcast. Star Trek or Star
Oh,
Wars?
it's so easy. I was born a Trekkie. I will die a Trekkie. I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. Star Wars is great. Star Trek, 100,000 times. Yeah.
Do you can you pick a favorite? Like next
Oh yeah.
gen, Deep Space Nine, or
Next Gen was 100%. It was like the perfect time, right? I was like late elementary into middle school when it was on prime time.
yeah,
So we had some original series that I had watched, plus the movies and so on. But yeah, the Next Generation, those are my people. Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. I'd seen the original series on reruns and things, and there's not that much of it, is there? But
No.
yeah, next gen, I would never miss an episode. For
Yeah.
us, it was on. It was I think it was I want to say Thursdays, but it was on about 6 p.m. So it was kind of if you
Oh,
after getting home from school, if you wanted to like go out and do things,
interesting.
or if I was home and on the Sega, I'd have been at the time. I came home. It was like riding bikes, skateboard, or something. I came home, or I actually stopped gaming to watch Next
Oh,
Gen.
oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
it
See?
was that big a deal, but
Yeah.
over time, I've bought all the box sets and all of that on DVD, well, on VHS, bought them again on DVD, buy them again
Yeah.
on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Never
they keep
actually
getting again
with
and again.
ideas of having these taking a week off work and just indulging and binging and never actually doing that.
That would be amazing, though. You know how fat I would get? Be like, well, I'm just going to sit and watch, 200 episodes. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yeah. That takes us back to pizza. There would be pizza.
Okay, and what about Dragon Ball or Pokemon?
Um, I keep trying to get into Pokemon. My family is very, very Pokemon. My older brother is Dragon Ball. So I try and like keep up a little bit because every now and then he'll be like, "Oh, did you see?" And it's like, no. So I kind of understand both, but I guess here I'll answer with this, as we mentioned with Nexomon. I was a Digimon fan in high school, and then just after when Digimon was so big, I loved Digimon because it was like a perfect like cross section of like kind of the Pokemon stuff, but then some of the more anime. It's more anime than Pokemon.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
And some of the Digimon games, like there's a I can't remember the exact titles, but there's a PS1 Digimon game
Yeah.
that, man, I love that thing. I have it
Nice.
somewhere around here, but
Yeah, the Cyber Sleuth that came out on the Switch a couple years ago, not impressive. It's just lots of side quests and things, and I'm like, where are all my Digimon?
yeah.
Like, why am I walking around? I want to fight Digimon. Um, I think there's a more recent one though that came out that I haven't purchased yet somehow.
Yeah, there's some
That
kind
I think is more.
yeah, there was one recently. I haven't tried it. It confused the hell out of me. That it's at the same time equal parts visual novel, and yet
Mm-hmm.
it also has the capturing, taming, evolving combat
Hmm.
somehow. I don't know if they managed to
Somehow.
pull that off,
Right.
but it's
Yeah, I
intriguing.
haven't heard much about it.
Yeah.
Right.
What else have we got? What else have we got? Oh, polka dots or stripes?
I'm wearing stripes. But yeah, I guess stripes. I guess stripes. Yeah.
Stripes. Yeah. Good. Stripes. Easy. See how easy it is? Stripes. That's the question people spend most time
That's funny.
on making out. It seems to be so far, yeah. So I'm glad someone could just say stripes instead of asking me, instead of going like, oh, is it horizontal or vertical stripes?
Oh,
Does it
I'll see
matter?
you there.
But it matters to some people, and if it matters to my guests, it matters to me.
There you go.
So what we're gonna do? I want to try and. I'm already thinking I want to try and wrap it up because we were probably going to finish about now, but we've only just started.
Okay, I'm good till 4. I have checked in with my people, and I'm good till 4.
Okay. Well then, I've got 2 words for you.
Oh
We
boy.
can't really. I don't think we can do this without mentioning them. Caped Crusader.
I'm still deciding. Did you watch all of it?
All of it. All of it.
Okay.
All of it in one night. Couldn't stop.
So I sat down last night. It was just before 10, and I'm like, I'm gonna go as hard as I can. I made it through 3. So I did Penguin. Was it Penguin? The Inspector one, where it's kind of Clayface, but it's more about the detective, which that was the best episode out of the 3.
Very cool.
And then the third one was the Catwoman one. Yeah, and I'm still right. It's one of those where I'm still kind of settling in. I don't think that I'm a huge fan of the animation. Like there are some things about their faces look so dopey. Like there's just some little things about it that I'm adjusting to.
Yeah.
But then there are things that are beautiful, like the from the first one where it would like pan out and you'd get that big gorgeous ship that was out.
Yeah.
Some of those are beautiful. So I think I just need to sit in because that's the problem, right? I just watched animated series. Like it's still like right here. It's the wallpaper on my phone, which I can't show you because I'm on my phone. But yeah, So the animation I'm still working in. Um, the music I'm not like super blown away.
I
Um,
expected a little more from the music side of things. Definitely.
yeah, because that's I mean that's one of like the huge things about that animated series, right? That's Danny
Yeah.
Elfman. We're not kidding around. Um, and then but the voice acting is phenomenal. That I could almost sit and just listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's definitely a bit. I mean, it's big shoes to fill. Kevin
yeah.
Conroy. I mean, you know, uh, literally and metaphorically, the guy was fucking huge.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, to me and I guess a whole bunch of people. I mean, not just around the same age, but definitely anyone around the same age. Kevin
Yeah.
Conroy is
It's
Batman and will
Batman.
always
Mm,
be Batman.
right.
Once that show came out, that just becomes the voice in my head. If I'm reading a Batman comic,
Yeah. Yep.
I read Kevin Conroy's voice now. Well, ever since the 90s. Um, so he just is. uh,
Yeah.
but this guy, Hamish Linkletter, however you pronounce his name. Sorry for butchering it. If you're
Mm,
watching, Hamish, of
yeah.
course he is. Um,
We love you.
but
Yeah.
he really knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's very Conroy inspired.
It's close.
Conroy
Yes.
adjacent.
But it's
I mean,
yeah. He's not pretending though either. He's not like, oh, I'm gonna sound like Kevin Conroy.
no,
Like I think it's already just kind of there.
yeah,
And yeah, his Bruce Wayne voice is a little not my favorite, but his Batman voice is almost like spot on.
it is.
Even the kids came in, somebody wandered in last night and they're like, oh, are you watching Batman? And it took them a minute to realize that I was
The
watching
new
the
one.
new one.
Yeah,
So that says something. Um, yeah, I'm curious. And I've been trying to not read stuff on the internet, but then you wind
yeah.
up like accidentally reading things. But the introduction of Dr. Quinzel,
Mm.
that was freaking brilliant because nerds are watching this and it's like, wait a minute, like this totally unrelated story, right? So it's a Catwoman episode, and then we've got this doctor that he's meeting with
Yeah.
who's obviously I I feel like in that episode, like she's actually being a good doctor. Like she's not messing with him yet, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
And yeah,
it's. I think for me, obviously, I won't. I try not to spoil anything, but I
it's
felt a
fine. I'm
little bit.
gonna watch it,
It
so
was a
it's
bit
fine.
of a shame. The episodes are kind of standalone. Really,
Okay.
there isn't. There is. They do clearly carry on. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is a timeline that flows through them, but at the same time, like whatever the bad guy is that episode, if it's the Clayface episode, if it's the Catwoman episode, it's really their episode and introduce you
Mm-hmm.
to that character, and Batman might be in it for a bit at some point.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
really about these other characters, whether it could be the detectives, it could be a villain. It's really more focused on them, and it makes every episode a little bit like they don't really get an arc going that where you want to know where this is going
Mm.
as such. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
even
Yes.
right to the end, it's like, okay, you've laid some groundwork, you've introduced us to like a whole bunch of characters. Even Onomatopoeia uh,
Mm-hmm.
gets to be in
Yeah.
there. Not exactly the most mainstream villain that people might know,
Right.
but an absolutely fantastic character, and really done really well. But yeah, it's really more about that. So you're kind of hoping season two might go a little bit harder on a solid narrative, continuing story.
Hmm.
Might be nice because they'll probably get one because I think it's generally been received very well.
Yeah.
Eh,
Haven't heard.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, except for the crazy people who can't handle a female penguin for some reason.
But at the same time, like, right, and that's what's so silly. Like, it's new. Like, let the new people, which even though it's an old team that are kind of refitting it, and it's like if they did okay before, if you like Batman, just hang on a minute and
Yeah,
see what happens. I loved that episode because it was so much darker that a mom killed her kid.
yeah,
She snuffed, and then immediately I paused the episode when the other kid's like on the phone and he's like, "Oh no, he's gonna figure it out that it was me," and I'm like, "Oh!" Like there, each episode that I've seen so far has like just that one little zinger,
yeah.
right? Where you're like, "Oh my gosh." The storytelling is there and it's really well done. And yeah, like it's a Batman show, but it's not. Like he's like you said, he's a background character.
It,
Um and so is it supposed to be like he's just starting out? Like he's just decided he's big enough or angry
yeah,
enough to be Batman?
it's very much. I mean, I didn't realize quite how much of a full on sort of reboot it was. You know,
Mm.
it in no way it doesn't continue where the '90s season left off,
Yeah, it's
or anything
almost like
like that. It's a
or
whole retelling from the beginning. There's one of the episodes. I don't know if it's in the first three, but there's a kind of gag where you feel the bat signals gonna
ooh, that's
gonna be made,
cool.
but
Hasn't happened yet.
they don't
Good.
they don't go there. But it's like, so are you not gonna do the bat signal? But you kind
Huh?
of they kind of throw it, so you think, oh, is that not going to be a thing in this version? We'll have to wait and see.
Oh wow.
But they kind of, yeah, they make you think there's going to be a reveal,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't happen, which is probably like braver storytelling to not do it.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
which I appreciate, and we'll see where that goes. But it does that. What it does well, it does really, really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing's perfect, you know. So
I'm trying to
there
think of
are
something.
they try to capture that '90s the Spielberg animation style
Yeah.
that the original show had, but they keep adding in these CG elements,
Yeah. And you
and
can feel that when it
sometimes
breaks. Yeah.
sometimes it works really well, other times not so much. But they're trying something, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yes.
they'll only get better at it, or they'll move away from it, or
Or they'll be
whatever. We'll see
done.
what's to come.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it,
I'm surprised it even exists. That just tickled me so much when it was like, what? Really? Like, why are we doing this? What's going on? Um, yeah. So the fact that it even exists in the world of some of the crappiest TV.
yeah,
And we don't really watch TV. We're terrible at watching TV. My parents do that all the time. They'll be like, "Oh, did you see?" And it's like, "No, I don't watch TV. I play video games."
yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's been awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to watch a couple more episodes here.
Did you do Did you do X-Men? The
I have not
'97.
the new X-Men 97 we have not. That's been one of them where cuz the kids want to watch it too. That was one of the beautiful things about COVID, man. We like made our kids watch. We watched all of the X-Men. We watched all of Batman the animated series. Um so the kids want to like do it kind of as a group and we just
Yeah.
haven't had the minute to be able to do it because it's like a couple episodes. It's not even just like 10 or 12 or whatever the Batman is. It's like episodes.
There's a
So
whole
it's
bunch,
coming.
and I mean, and once you get started, there's not so much of Batman Beyond,
Yeah.
but it's it's worth putting on there because it's that genuinely is the sequel to the animated
Right.
series,
Yeah.
and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Um, if anything, it maybe it where Batman always the thing about Batman is whenever it's set, it's the '90s, '20s. Whenever at the same time, the
Yeah.
weird thing about Gotham is people are walking around with smartphones while like gangsters in white tires
Right.
automobiles go down the road. It's very, very strange. But then Batman Beyond for for a 90s show definitely took that, it's the 90s and everything had to be edgy
Yeah.
and stuff. It definitely took that ball and ran with it, which I know it's not to everybody's taste, that kind of slightly cyberpunkish style. But if the
Yeah.
thing,
I didn't watch it as a kid. There must have been, right, it must have been different enough that I was like, I don't want to. I know we have it on physical media somewhere. Because I know the husband loved that one. Right, because it is like techie, it's like even nerdier than regular Batman, right?
yeah, and if the kind of darker side of things is a side of Batman that
Okay.
you like, Batman Beyond, from like the first
Interesting.
two episodes,
Mm-hmm.
goes to some kind of holy shit moments.
Oh wow.
Straight away, they don't
Nice.
mess around. They really don't.
Not
Whether it just be
kids.
straight up
So?
the violence, which I mean, Batman beats the crap out of people on a regular basis. It's what he does. But yeah, because I think Batman Beyond, it's the way DC and Marvel, the parallels, and they have a bunch of like pretty much identical characters on both
Yeah.
sides. So you have Batman Beyond and you have Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Like
interesting.
the
Okay.
sort of futuristic counterparts, and much like Batman Beyond, the Spider-Man of 2099 is when he's himself, he's the
Yeah.
wisecracking one-liner. When he puts on the spider suit, that's when he goes dark and he will rip your throat
Yeah.
out with the
Right.
claws that he actually has.
Right?
That version, and it's like, yeah, Peter Parker would never do that, you know.
No, yeah, Tobey
And
Maguire
Batman Beyond's
is
kind
all
of like,
no.
yeah, and it's the same for Batman Beyond. It's not like he's running around like headshot, 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 or
Right.
anything, but like, yeah, he's gonna go a bit more sort of, Daredevil, Punisher, like, yeah, if the cops won't give justice, that's where I come in, you know.
More well, and that was always kind of my thing. Even as a kid watching Batman the animated series, it was like, oh my God, just shoot him. Like just I'm like 10, right? It's like Batman, just shoot him. So that's interesting to take it where it's throwing it into the far future where it's like you're suspending even more belief, but then it's
Yeah,
making it almost
I mean, it's
more
not.
believable because he's going there.
Yeah, I mean, with Batman
Hmm.
Beyond, I mean, it's not massively in the future. We're still talking. It's a world where Bruce Wayne is still old but
Okay.
alive and needs a cane and retired and can sort of mentor the new guy.
Nice.
So it's not like
Hmm.
super futuristic, but with all
Hmm.
the all the Wayne tech and everything took
Yeah.
to like a bit of another level.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like it. I would recommend it. And Conroy, of course, still voicing Bruce
Oh, does he?
in
Oh,
Batman
yeah.
Beyond.
Okay.
So
Then I'm there.
yeah,
You talk me into it.
so the bat right, okay, the Batman voice, right?
Yeah.
As in the kind of live action movie Batman voice, this weird guttural
Oh,
growly
Batman.
thing that I don't know who started it. I don't know whose idea it
No.
was. I don't know where that comes from, but it seems to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't
What
seem
is
to be
that?
going in it. Everyone, do you have a take on that at all? I mean, it
I,
doesn't
well, I
spoil the films for me, but
guess right, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, speak up. Right? It's like, did you see the new Deadpool Wolverine
yeah,
movie? Right? Like when Deadpool's picking on Gambit, he's like, who's your dialect coach? Like it's the same kind of thing where it's like, who told you that sounded good? Like, oh my God.
yeah,
Because like Michael Keaton has kind of a gruff voice. Like he just kind of does.
yeah.
And then so maybe they were like, we need to do that. And then I don't think Christian Bale under performs. So maybe he was like, I have to like go like way into
Yeah.
this. And then yeah, because like Heath Ledger's voice isn't super crazy either, and they both like really crazied up their voices. So yeah, that's interesting. Let's write a doctoral
It's just
dissertation.
it's like, okay, it's a secret identity, right? And you're wearing a mask and everything. You're wearing this whole bat suit. So okay, your voice might be a giveaway, right? So
It could, yeah.
I get maybe changing your voice, but you're
Mhm.
multi-billionaire Bruce Wayne. You have all
Right.
these gadgets. You've got a bat.
Get a voice
Yeah,
changer. Yeah.
you have a bat. Insert whatever I
That
need to get to
everything.
the end of this
Yeah.
mission right
Right.
now. Something in
Yeah.
some way. You have this flash car, but
Hilarious.
just something as simple as
Yeah.
adding a little distortion to your voice from inside the
Yeah.
cowl that you didn't
Ooh, that
think
would
of.
be
No, you thought you.
creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because after a hard night's Batmaning, never mind the broken ribs. Like Bruce Wayne's not going to be able to
Throat
speak
hurt.
for the next week. And Bruce Wayne's got presentations to give and ribbons to
Yeah.
cut and things. So it's
Oh,
not the
see, that
smart.
hasn't really come up yet. Yeah.
Yeah, like for the world's greatest
Interesting.
detective, it's not the smartest move to go around it.
No.
Where's the trigger? Where's the trigger? No, never. Just,
Yeah.
just
Dude.
get a
Yeah.
little doohickey, and
You would think they'd even like lean into that because especially so Lucius Fox has always been one of my favorite characters, right? Because he's kind of like Batman's sidekick in a way. Like he's just the tech
yeah,
brain sometimes, and he's not in the animated series a ton. But then when they made him Morgan Freeman in movies, I was over the moon. That made me so happy. So yeah, maybe even just be like, here, Batman. Like, here's
like,
a little bat talk box. Like,
it's
come
okay.
on.
It's like, as long as it doesn't ask you, does it come in black? Like,
Yes, it's
but yeah, but Batman's great. But Batman's great. I like Batman. I'll take pretty much any Batman. They're going to do more Batman.
yeah,
And I will. I mean, I'm a guy of a certain age, so I guess there's a certain amount of bias, but I am Batfleck uh, approved. Affleck.
yeah.
The idea of Affleck being Batman was the best idea anybody ever had. It was just possibly 10, 15 years too late, but nonetheless. Um,
He's a
but
big Batman.
but he's a huge nerd, huge comic book
Yeah,
fan, huge Avid DC fan. If anyone was going to, understand the assignment,
that's true.
and,
Good point.
and
Yeah,
do it, then Affleck was going to give you a good Batman.
yeah,
And they never really quite, because he didn't get that legitimate kind of solo Batman movie.
right. He
I
didn't.
always feel like it was a little bit hard done by. I will
Yeah,
cheer on Batfleck.
yeah. Well, and then because then our new iteration, right, with Robert Pattinson, I was like, no, there's no way this is going to be good. And that my husband is an engineer, so right, like Tony Stark and Batman are like his like his gods. So when he saw that newest Batman movie and was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's so creepy. And it has so many of the elements from Batman the animated series
It does.
that you wouldn't expect. Like some of those great like pull in storylines, and then which the first time we watched it, we turned right around and watched it again because there's so much to get on that rewatch where that creepo guy is like in the background of scenes, and there's even things that you're like picking up almost like walking around like in the Batman Arkham Asylum games where you're like walking through and you're like da da da, and then it's like, oh, I just walked by a bunch of stuff and I didn't even know it, because those games are so thick, for lack of a better term, and the movie was the same way. So my dad was a huge fan. Like I was absolutely not betting on that Batman being good.
Yeah.
Um, but then now we're getting like a whole Penguin show. Are they doing like a whole
Yeah.
Penguin series, right?
Apparently.
So what do I know? They didn't ask me, and this time they're lucky because I would have been like, what?
Yeah, there's definitely. I know it's been kind of hit and miss with a lot of fans. The latest one.
Yeah.
I just feel it's, and I think I've felt this way about almost every major sort of blockbuster movie for about the last 10 years. That it's
Yeah.
at least half hour too long.
Yes,
Um,
dear God.
there's at
Ah,
least half an hour that I think I could chop out of there and not
yeah,
really miss anything. Mainly, quite specifically with the Batman, I
yeah.
think the whole, I get why it's there, but pretty much the whole of the last 20 minutes, half an hour can go. I think
Sure.
I think when Riddler's locked up and
Mm-hmm.
Batman goes to visit him that one last time,
Yeah.
I think like that's the end. Like it's done. Like he's the bad
Yes.
guy, he's the villain. You've solved the
Done.
clue.
Bye.
You've solved the clues.
Mhm.
You've caught him. He's locked up. That won't last. We all know how this works. He'll get out at
We
some
know.
point or whatever.
Yeah.
But and yes, he could have. And he's the kind of guy. There could be stuff set up still out there for you to fall into.
Yes.
Traps out there
100
even
times.
after he's
Yeah.
incarcerated in future films. I get that, but that it's ending. It's going off. I'm waiting for the credits to roll, and instead,
Yeah.
everything starts blowing up because we haven't had enough big Hollywood explosions yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Batman's got to dive in and save some innocent civilians and be the hero because he's been this emo, vengeance-driven guy.
Yeah.
So he has to be the hero. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's not. I don't even want that from my Batman. I want the Dark Knight for
No.
crying out loud.
Yeah.
Which he was doing quite a good job of portraying more of a Dark Knight
Yeah.
version, even
Yeah.
though it was kind of messed up because if he's just started, he's not going to be the Dark
Hmm.
Knight for quite some time. But he's kind of playing it more that way, even though
Yeah.
it's early on.
Yeah. I agree with
And
you.
I was really
Yeah.
intrigued to see, like, okay, so he's going to go from like, fuck it, I'll just kill them all, vengeance. And then there's going to be
Yeah.
a middle bit where he kind of reins it in and behaves and, does
Yeah.
the right thing.
Almost feels
And, and,
guilty
and then
about,
what? A
yeah.
third movie when he realizes that doing the right thing isn't getting him anywhere.
Right.
They just keep getting out of
Kill
Arkham and
everybody
Blackgate.
again. Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
then I'll be the Dark Knight, which I should have never stopped doing in the first place. So,
Yeah.
if they let this thing go and if they let the writers go with it, if there's not too much industry fingers
Yeah.
involved and they let Matt
Poking.
Reeves pursue that vision, um,
Hmm.
I'm kind of up for it. I am. But
Yeah.
yeah, that whole, yes, everything starts exploding and I'm kind of like, we didn't really need that at all.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but what do I know? But it's still a better film than any film I've ever made.
That's,
So, you know,
that's fair.
that's how we roll in it. I don't I don't just, I try and talk about the things I like, not the things I don't like, because it's just negative energy and a waste
I
of everybody's time. Uh,
agreed.
I don't love everything, but I try not to be super critical of anything because
Hmm.
anything anybody's ever done is better than the version that I've ever done because I've never done nothing, So, like,